This podcast is made possible by our supporters on Patreon, who pledge an amount to contribute every month and in return get exclusive access to bonus content, merchandise discounts, and much more. If you'd like to join our family and help us continue to bring you the very best in audio drama, please go to patreon.com/Gotham Variety and subscribe. That's Patreon/Gotham Variety.
Last episode.
We'll have some fine hunting up the Amazon. Wonderful sport, isn't it?
Hunting? Best in the world.
For the hunter, of course. Not so much for the jaguar.
Oh, nonsense. Who cares how a jaguar feels?
Well, the jaguar, I presume. See you at breakfast, old man.
Good night, Whitney. Sleepy myself. Someone doing a bit of shooting.
No!
My name's Bob Rainsford. I'm from New York City. I fell off a yacht and swam ashore.
I am General Zarov. I read your book about hunting snow leopards in Tibet. Excellent. Most excellent. Ivan here is incredibly strong. I've seen him dislocate a man's shoulder with a mere flick of the wrist. But during the misfortune in our country a few years ago, some Bolsheviks cut off his ears and tongue before he was able to break free and kill them. Come in, come in.
I've always thought the Cape Buffalo is the most dangerous of all the big game.
If you'll forgive me, sir, you are wrong. Here on the island, I hunt more dangerous game.
You can't mean.
And why not?
That's murder, General, not hunting.
You're worn out. It's why you're not thinking clearly. After some rest, we'll visit my training school in the cellar. I have a dozen pupils down there now, from a Spanish ship that hit the rocks.
Good night, General. Locked in. He's gone hunting.
You can follow us on Twitter @Gotham Variety, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our show on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher. We're on Spotify as well. Check out our website at gothamvariety.com, where you can send us your comments and questions. And if you love what we're doing, we'd love a 5-star review on the podcast platform of your choice. Reviews and ratings help keep our show on the charts, so more and more people can find us. And now, Gotham Variety brings you the conclusion of The Most Dangerous Game.
How are you feeling, Mr. Rainsford?
Better, thank you.
Good. As for me, I don't feel so well.
What seems to be the trouble?
Worry, Mr. Rainsford. Even old generals worry.
About what?
Last night, I detected traces of my old complaint. Boredom. Crêpe Suzette.
Thank you. The hunting wasn't good.
The fellow lost his head. Made a straight trail that offered no problem whatsoever. That's the trouble with sailors. They're stupid to begin with, and they don't know how to get around the woods. Just the deck of a ship. They do obvious things. It's very annoying.
I must tell you, General, that I wish to leave this island at once.
But you've only just arrived. You've had no hunting.
Nevertheless, I wish to go this instant.
Try this, Chablis.
I don't want it, and I will not hunt with you.
You're sure?
Quite sure.
As you wish. But I think you'll find my idea of sport more diverting than Ivan's.
You don't mean... me?
Death is for the others, but not for me, eh? That's how all my guests have felt. But you're no ordinary guest. I drink to a foe worthy of my steel, at last. Finally a game worth playing. Your brain against mine. Your craft against mine. Your strength and stamina against mine. Outdoor chess. And the stake is not without value, eh? And if I don't find you by midnight of the third day, I'll cheerfully admit defeat and my boat will place you on the mainland near a town.
You expect me to trust you?
I give you my word, as a gentleman and a sportsman. Of course you must agree to say nothing of your visit here.
I'll agree to nothing of the kind.
No? Well, Anyway, why discuss it now? In 3 days we can discuss it over a bottle of champagne. Unless, of course, well, you know.
All right. Let's get on with it then.
Excellent. Ivan will give you supplies. I suggest you avoid the big swamp in the southeast corner. We call it Death Swamp. There is quicksand there. Lazarus, my finest hound, followed one fool into it and I lost him.
Pity.
And now, if you'll excuse me, I always take a siesta after lunch. But you'll want to start, no doubt. I won't follow till dusk. Hunting at night is much more exciting, don't you think? Au revoir, Mr. Rainsford.
With a deep bow, General Zaroff strolls from the room. Through another door comes Ivan, one massive arm carrying khaki hunting clothes, a satchel of food, and a hunting knife in a leather sheath. His right hand rests lightly on the revolver held in the crimson sash around his waist. His first instinct had been to put as much distance as possible between himself and Zaroff, and so he had plunged along, spurred on by something very close to panic. But now he stops to gather his composure and take stock of the situation.
Straight flight is idiocy. It'll just bring you face to face with the sea. No, you're in a picture, and the frame is water. Operate within that frame. Right. Give the bastard a trail to follow.
He steps off the path and executes a series of intricate loops, doubling back on his trail again and again as the bloated sun sinks below the horizon.
All right. Insane to stumble on through the dark even if I had the strength. No. Rest. Up in this tree. Only the devil himself could follow that crazy trail through the jungle after dark. Something coming. From where I came.
Flattening himself on the limb, he peers through a thick screen of leaves and sees Zaroff.
Maybe he is the devil.
The general makes his way forward as if in a trance, his gaze fixed downward. He pauses almost beneath the tree, drops to his knees, and studies the ground. Rainsford has an impulse to hurl himself down like a panther, but he has spotted the pistol in Zaroff's right hand. The pungent incense-like smoke floats up into Rainsford's nostrils. Now the general's eyes have left the ground and are traveling inch by inch up the tree. Rainsford holds his breath and freezes, every muscle tensed for a spring. But Zaroff's eyes stop just below the limb where Rainsford lies. Very deliberately, he blows a smoke ring in the air and walks back along the trail from which he came.
What was that smile about? And why turn back? He's playing with me. Saving me up for another day. He's the cat, I'm the mouse.
Sliding down, he strikes off again into the woods, forcing the tired machinery of his mind to function. 300 yards from his hiding place, a huge dead tree leans precariously on a smaller, living one. Throwing off his sack of food, Rainsford takes out his knife and gets to work.
No, you didn't bloody well survive the trenches to be murdered by this fanatic. Keep your nerve, and you'll win.
The job finished at last, he throws himself down behind a fallen log 100 feet away. He needn't wait long. The cat is returning to its prey. The dead tree, delicately adjusted to rest on the cut living one, strikes a glancing blow on his shoulder as it falls. Zaroff staggers, but doesn't fall, nor does he drop his revolver.
If you're within reach of my voice, as I imagine you are, please accept my congratulations. There aren't too many men that know how to make a Malaysian man-catcher. You're proving interesting, Mr. Rainsford. I'm going home now to dress my wound, but I'll be back. I look forward to our reunion.
Zaroff gone, Rainsford takes flight again, those cold fingers of dread pressing him on. Dusk, then darkness. Still, he presses on. The ground has grown soft under his moccasins, the vegetation thicker, the insects more savage. Suddenly, his foot sinks into the muck.
Quicksand. Death swamp.
He tries to wrench it free, but the slimy earth sucks at him viciously.
All right. It's over. You're out.
But the swamp has provided the spark of an idea. Stepping back a dozen feet or so, he begins to dig, like some huge prehistoric beaver. During the war, he had dug himself in when a second's delay meant death. That had been but a pleasant diversion compared to this. When he can stand in the pit up to his shoulders, he climbs out and cuts several stakes from hard saplings, sharpening each to a needle point. These he plants in the bottom of the pit, business end up. With flying fingers, he weaves a rough carpet of weeds and branches to cover the mouth of the pit. Trembling with exhaustion, Rainsford crouches behind the stump of a rotting tree and waits.
Strange. I'd forgotten. The closer death is, the more alive one feels.
The gentle night breeze brings him the perfume of Zaroff's cigarette before the general himself is visible. Suppressing an impulse to scream with joy, Rainsford leaps up from his place of concealment, and just as suddenly cowers back. 3 feet from the pit stands a man with an electric torch in his hand.
Well done, Mr. Rainsford. Again you have scored. Your Burmese tiger pit has claimed one of my finest hounds. I think I'll see what you can do against the whole pack. Thank you for a most amusing evening.
At daybreak, Rainsford is awakened in his tree by a faint and wavering sound, a sound which instructs him that he has new things to learn about fear. The baying of a pack of hounds.
All right, you have 2 choices. Stay here and wait. That's suicide. Or flee. That'll only postpone the inevitable. No, there's a third way. Think, goddammit.
Narrowing his eyes, he makes out the lean figure of Zaroff. Just ahead of the general strides another man, wide shoulders surging through the tall jungle weeds.
Ivan, holding the pack on a leash. They'll be upon me any minute.
Sliding down the tree, he catches hold of a sapling, to which he fastens his hunting knife, its blade pointing down the trail. After tying it back with a bit of wild grapevine, he runs for his life, those cold fingers forcing him forward. The hounds raise their voices as they hit the fresh scent.
Now I know, Whitney, old chum. Now I know how it feels. Stopped. Must have reached the knife. Son of a bitch.
Zaroff remains on his feet, but the knife, driven by the recoil of the springing tree, has not completely failed him. Ivan is down.
Well, that's something at least. All right, move.
As the dogs draw closer, Rainsford forces himself onward until finally he reaches the edge.
Water. The frame.
Across a cove, he sees the gloomy gray stone of the chateau.
Quite a distance I've come.
He looks down at the 50-foot drop and hesitates.
Well, to hell with it. Worst it can do is kill you.
When Zaroff and his pack reach the place by the sea, the Cossack stops. For several minutes he stands there, impassively regarding the blue-green expanse.
So long, Robert Rainsford. Do svidaniya.
Despite an exceptional dinner of roast suckling pig accompanied by a half bottle of Chambertin, two thoughts pester the general as he plays. One is that it will be extraordinarily difficult to replace Ivan. The other is that his quarry has escaped him.
Oh well.
Heading into the library, he selects a dusty volume from one of its shelves and reads aloud from the works of Marcus Aurelius.
Don't look down upon death. Welcome it. It, too, is one of the things required by nature. The same way you anticipate a child's emergence from its mother's womb, that is how you should await the hour when your soul will emerge from its earthly compartment. Marcus, there was a man.
At 10 sharp, the general locks himself in the master bedroom and walks over to the window.
Better luck next time. Das Yedushi Varaza.
And then, he turns on the light.
Hello, General Zaroff.
Rainsford, how in God's name did you get here?
The sea was good to me. I found it much quicker than tramping through the jungle.
Well, you are to be congratulated. You won the game.
If you'll forgive me, sir, you are wrong.
Am I?
I'm still a beast at bay.
I see. Excellent. Before the night is through, one of us will make a splendid meal for the hounds.
Something funny?
Just that, after all you've been through, the war, everything, only to end up digested by dogs.
But I plan to win.
Of course! And the winner? Well, he gets to sleep in this very excellent bed.
Fair enough.
All right. Enough talk.
Ready?
On guard, Rainsford.
An eventful hour has passed, and once again, quiet reigns on the island. The hounds have finished their meal.
Well, my late host was right. It is a very excellent bed. What in God's name? Oh yes, Spanish pupils in the cellar. Let him out tomorrow. But then, who knows? Perhaps I'll stay a while.
And on that ominous note, our two-part thriller, The Most Dangerous Game by Richard Connell, draws to a close. This is Joe Rubenstein, creator of Gotham Variety, and I hope you enjoyed listening to this story as much as we enjoyed putting it together. In tonight's cast, Anthony Miziano played Bob Rainsford, Samuel Drew Hora was General Zaroff, and our narrator was Brian Alford. The story was adapted by yours truly. I made some adjustments, added character background and some details to set it more firmly in its historical era. The early 20s, I did the music and sound as well, and Beethoven's Pathetique Sonata was performed by Daniel Veazey. Back in a moment.
Your feedback is important to us. On Twitter, @Gotham Variety, on our Facebook page, or you can email the program, joe@gothamvariety.com. Really, however you'd like to engage with us, we love engaging with you. And if you'd like to join our family and get exclusive access to bonus content, please go to patreon.com/GothamVariety and subscribe.
Well, it's time to close. We thank you for joining us once again here on Gotham Variety, and please rejoin us for episode 5 as we present a fascinating tale by perhaps the greatest novelist ever to walk the earth, certainly one of them, a story which might be described as a cross between a biblical parable and the Twilight Zone as our debut season continues here on Gotham Variety. We'll see you soon. Take care.